Autoweb. Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Autoweb.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is L.A. Williams, the blindfold master, and I am here on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast with the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Mr. Sean V. Bradley, CSP. What's going on, Sean?
Yo, what's up, brother? You know what it is. How you doing?
I'm really excited because today, kind of like in, conjunction with what we got going on over on the Against All Odds radio show, we have a guest who is absolutely phenomenal. Listen, after my own heart, the queen of disability, right? Her company is the expert, right, of all things talking about disability inclusion. And so I'm appreciating that one, what I'm saying, on a big time level. And so I want to introduce to the world Miss Nadine Vogel. What's going on, Nadine?
Hey guys, I'm so glad to be doing this with y'all today. Yay!
Thank you so much.
100%. So this is exciting. So we're actually live on Facebook in our Millionaire Car Salesman group. So you're talking to 18,000 plus automotive professionals, right? So let's,
baby. LA.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I said plus. There we go, 18,500, about to be 19,000, right? We just keep growing and growing and growing. But if we're going to keep growing as people and as individuals and as a group, then I believe that disability inclusion is extremely important. Tell me your thoughts on that, Nadine.
It is so important. It's important, to every industry that exists. But I have to tell you that for the automotive industry and automotive professional, probably more so than many other industries. And I'm happy to share why.
I'm about to say why. Look, people drive cars. I mean, LA, we accept him, but I mean, what's the deal with this disability stuff?
Okay, well, let's talk about this because let's start with the automotive salesman, right? The folks at the dealers selling the cars, doing the hard work. When my older daughter, who's now 29, was first looking for a car, torture. She has a variety of disabilities. It appears because of her facial deformities that she has cognitive impairments, which she doesn't. And we went to these dealers, and I would say, this car is for her. They would talk to me. I would insist. She's paying for her own car. It's her car. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just here for moral support. They would shake their head yes, and then would talk to me. And then when we did talk to her, it was inappropriate. It was condescending. They made assumptions about, you probably wouldn't be able to drive this car because she requires no physical adaptations to her car. And I will just say, and we can talk more about the details, but the dealership where she bought the car was the dealership that treated her appropriately, not only from the entrance point of when she first walked in, but through the entire sales process, including, the applying for financing, all of it. And then my, surprise and pleasant surprise, even through the servicing piece.
Wow. Okay.
The second car, that was the only dealership she would go to. And I will just tell you that when my husband needed a car, we had never bought that brand of car, and he would only go to that dealership.
Wow. So there's actually money involved in this thing. Like, you can actually make money by being a good human being. Is that what are you saying?
Wait a minute, Nadine. Nadine, real quick, can you hear me, Nadine?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Sean.
So going back, can you tell us the name of your company and exactly what the company is? Because you were we interviewed you on the Against All Odds radio show, which was to the public. And we were just so blown away for that national interview. We wanted to, bring you into the Millionaire Car Salesman group with, tens of thousands of automotive dealerships. But I think that most dealerships are going to be shocked at the caliber of a person you are, because you're not just, some woman at some little firm. You literally have a global company. So what's the name of the company and tell us the different entities and subsidiaries of your organization and your influence.
Absolutely. So Springboard Global Enterprises is the company. The global is because we operate in about 42 countries around the world. And the main company is Springboard Consulting, where we work with companies like all of our listeners today to mainstream people with disabilities as candidates, as customers, and as employees. We also have something called Disability Mama, which works with women who have family members and children with disabilities. We have a foundation that provides scholarships for college students with disabilities. The WIP group, which is about women influence and power, and their influence and power, especially in the automotive industry. So lots of things that we do. We have 3 TV shows, 2 podcasts. We produce an event called Disability Matters. It's a corporate conference in Europe, Asia, and North America. And those are just some of the things that we do. And I'm so glad to be here with you all today.
And so for my members in the group, how Nadine came to the show is because I'm in the National Speakers Association, both the CSP and in the elite mastermind group called the $1 Million Speakers Group. And you have to be a 7-figure earner. It means you have to generate at least $1 million a year in your paid speeches or your speaking business. So Nadine is a global phenomenon and one of the most incredible people that I met. And LA was blown away to the point where he was jumping up like Eddie Murphy from the Clumps with his little Hercules dance because he was just so excited. LA, can you bridge, because you're a car guy now for like 12 years. How were you so impacted by the interview we did on the Against All Odds radio show that you thought it would be an amazing idea to have Nadine speak to dealers? Explain.
Well, because the simple fact that, most people don't know to care. I'm not even gonna say that they don't care, but they don't know to care. They don't realize that there are challenges in their dealerships. They don't realize that there's challenges with, being an employee as a dealership, a customer, anything. They don't know about these things dealing with disability. And so I just thought that it would be important for, people get so blown away by me, like, oh, LA, you can do this, you can do that. That's amazing. But I think that they aren't exposing themselves to a numerous group that could really, show them that, listen, I can be successful too. Right. And so I think if Nadine had a conversation with them, I thought it might open their minds a bit. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to bring that to the table.
So to give a synopsis of this, basically what your organization's plural does is work with major companies, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 corporations all across the world to educate them on how to engage and the disability audience, that demographic, not only as a potential profit opportunity, because let's call it what it is. You floored me. Can you give some stats? You said that the disability demographic is larger than which other demographics?
The disability demographic is the largest and fastest growing minority in the world. In the US, it has surpassed the Hispanic population by 5%.
Well, stop for a second right there. Dealers, all the dealers that are out there that are running around, si habla español and all this other stuff, and you're jumping on this bandwagon, the disability demographic is larger than the entire Latino community in the United States by 5%. And so some ignorant people would say, well, they're disabled, we can't sell them shit. I mean, well, that's not true, because can you share, again, for the people that are just starting to come back into this and in the group and then listen to the podcast, you were the parent of 2 disabled children, correct? Okay, and so they buy cars, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and I want, audience, the Millionaire Car Salesman members, did you hear that? So again, if Nadine is saying that the disabled community is larger than the freaking Latino community in the United States, and that disabled people buy cars, not all disabled people, but most of them buy cars, we need to pay attention to this on on multiple levels. But the first one I want to mention is on the opportunity for potential revenue. Absolutely. On the flip side, though, what I liked what Nadine talked about on my radio show, on our radio show, was that, okay, making money on them is one thing, okay? And the second thing is that, but including them in your business, LA is is the key right here. LA has been with me for the last 12 years at Dealer Synergy. And I'll say this on record. He's one of the best things that ever happened to me personally and professionally. That's my brother. He's now a part owner in this company. And he started from the bottom, in the company as an analyst. Now he's a partner in the company. There are so many talented people that have quote unquote disabilities that are brilliant, that are altruistic, that are amazing human beings, and they're so skilled, but we don't give these people a shot. And Nadine, here's why I want to talk about this right now. It is a travesty because right now dealers are suffering, they're hemorrhaging with HR. They're hemorrhaging with HR. There's a 70 to 80% attrition ratio, and there's dealers all over the United States right now that are saying, I can't find anybody. I have dealers right now, and I got dealers in Maryland, I got dealers in Pennsylvania, I got dealers in New Jersey right now that need people. And from learning from Nadine, if you hire disabled people, and not just because they're disabled, but if you hire qualified disabled people, not only can they do the job, but these people are going to be fiercely loyal. Nadine, can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to back up to say that, the image sometimes when I say hire people with disabilities is people in a wheelchair. And, that might not be the case. My daughters are not in wheelchairs. They don't use special equipment. Both are college graduates. Right. So just kind of be able to change your mindset on what we're talking about. These individuals have average to better than average attendance records. The myth is that they'll be out more or sick. No. And the loyalty factor, they are so loyal because so many people are afraid to hire them, don't want to give them jobs, that when you do, unless you throw them out for some reason, they are with you for life. I say it's like a marriage, till death do us part. Right? Really loyal. And that's what you need. You need a few things, right? You need loyalty. You need innovation. People with disabilities are the most innovative people out there. And I know that LA can vouch for this. Because of their disabilities, they do things differently that end up actually being more innovative, more efficient often, and turn out to be more successful that others then want to emulate. But it's like, Sean was saying, you don't know what you don't know. So not only do we want to share this information and educate you, we actually can come in and help make it happen. And that's the bottom line, right? It's like great to have information. Now, what do I do with it? We'll come in and make it happen for you. This is a huge revenue generation opportunity on the sales side. It is a huge HR employment retentive opportunity on the employee side.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
At the very first Dealer eProcess keynote, Gino Ciparroni and Sam Vukas introduced new tools and strategies to drive conversion, new designs to increase customer engagement, and new technologies to dominate the competition. Visit dealereprocess.com/keynote to watch and see what's new in 2021.
Yeah, I love it, man. So here's the thing, we want to invite questions, right? Because that's the reason why we are streaming this live in the Millionaire Car Salesman group. So as we're having this conversation, unfortunately, you podcasters, you guys are getting it after the fact, right? But you can benefit from the questions that other folks in the Millionaire Car Salesman group ask. That's why we say, make sure you're a part of this Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. If you're listening to the podcast and you're not a part of the group, man, you're missing out. You don't get the exclusive access that we get here. So definitely in the comments, go ahead and post some questions or some comments or some different things like that. And we'll be, monitoring that as we continue this conversation. So, all right. Yeah. So Nadine, talk a little bit about, you talked about the innovation, right? And I know you've got lots and lots of clients that, you've gone and you've worked with. Can you give an example of some of the innovation, some of the things that, because someone maybe hired someone that was, and of course I'll say blind or, disabled in some way, shape or form, what did they do to enhance that company?
Yeah. So there's so many examples I could give you. And I'm thinking of companies, we've worked with like Toyota and General Motors and, just one. Many companies have call centers that they're dealing with, right? And the turnover rate in call centers, we all know that. We have seen turnover rate decrease dramatically, number one. Number two, usually if you go into a call center, there's all these lead boards, right? About, operating efficiencies and how many calls you've been able to accomplish in an hour and all of this, the people with disabilities, each and every time have the best numbers. And what has happened is because of that, the non-disabled folks are like, okay, well, I'm not, and I hate to say it this way, but they'll be like, well, I'm not being shown up by someone with a disability. So they've made everyone else more productive because nobody can figure out how, quote unquote, the blind guy, right, is doing it faster or better than someone who doesn't have a disability. So now it's like curiosity and frustration. And so now I'm going to work to beat you. And that's what happens. And, call centers are tough because of that turnover piece. So if you can reduce turnover even by 20%, 30% by hiring people with disabilities, and then at the same time have your numbers go up, well, heck, why wouldn't you do it?
You hit on something right there. For us, we specialize in internet sales, BDC, and call centers. So Nadine, we have multi-billion-dollar dealer group clients. We have, $70 million clients, and these dealerships, they have leads that are internet purchase requests. So here's the ecosystem. So the more field intel I could give you, I think the better you could spit back, some stuff. So here's what happens right now. 99% of Americans go online before they ever step foot into a dealership. And what they do is they submit usually an email, an internet purchase request, or they call the dealership, especially through COVID and the pandemic. That's what's happening. So most dealerships have a CRM, and all of the leads go into the CRM, and they have X amount of people in the department or a showroom floor that answers these leads. Yeah. So that's what dealers really need a lot of help with. They need people that are going to be able to sit at a desk. Yeah. And be able for all day, not get up out of their chair, and literally sit there all day and receive these emails and follow up. They need to make emails, phone calls, text messages, etc. And so, I would love for you to elaborate a little bit more on your call center success. Disabled people that are working in call centers, they have success. And go through some of the things why a dealer, let's play chess. Why would a dealer not hire disabled people? And let's just shoot all those things down.
Absolutely. So there's about 4 topics I want to bring up as a result of this. So one, why wouldn't you hire someone with a disability? I'm going to just say it plain and simple because you're stupid. and that's not really true, but it's really because of fear. And fear in that, wow, this person is going to cost us a lot of money in terms of accommodations and things like that. My daughters require $0 for accommodations. The average cost of an accommodation in this country is $375, and most don't require any accommodation. So that's number one. Number two, well, they have a disability. If I hire them and they're not good, I'm not going to be able to fire them. Absolutely not. There are performance standards like for anyone else. And we help you to learn how to do that. So those are your 2 big reasons. The third sometimes is I've heard some dealers say, well, I don't think our other customers will be comfortable, or they'll feel uncomfortable if they meet this person and they look different or whatever. And studies have showed that if you hire people with disabilities, that your other customers actually react positively because of that. So they look at you doing something good. So those are the kind of 3 myth busters. And I think the fourth would be that we don't know how to engage appropriately. So the number 1 global best practice is disability etiquette and awareness training, to just teach you how to engage, how to communicate, work side by side, so you're comfortable and you make the other person comfortable. Very, very easy to do. But I also want to come back to something, Sean, you said about, we need people that are just going to sit at that desk and not get up. So one population, just of many, that there's a lot of information you can see out there on is the neurodiverse population. So people on the autism spectrum, right? These are individuals, they don't get up. They don't want to go coffee klatch. They're not sitting there having social conversations with people. They just want to sit down, do their work, and not be disturbed, and then go home at the end of the day.
Wait a minute. I love this. I never even thought of that, because one of the biggest things that drives me fucking crazy, Nadine, is that salespeople and some people in dealerships, they get into, we call it the huddle. They get in the huddle and they bitch and complain about this and that. Huh?
These guys aren't going to do that.
I never thought of it that way, but it's a great point. Sorry to interrupt, but I love what you just said. Keep going.
The other thing that you mentioned that I think is a huge factor here for importance, and even more so in COVID, the websites. You're right. People are going to send an email. They're going to go to your site first so that when they call, I'm looking at this car, right? I'm looking at this, 19, whatever. Is your website accessible? Is it WCAG 2.0 accessible? What does that mean? That means that someone who is blind, has a visual impairment, can't use a mouse, can't use a keyboard. Oh, and by the way, can't use a mouse, keyboard, have navigational issues. All of those people are driving, just so you know, all right? That they can't access your site. Or maybe the person purchasing the car is fine, but their parent is LA and LA can't access the site and he's paying for his kid's car. Right? We need to make sure. And by the way, from a compliance standpoint, you're required, but we find that most dealerships don't really know how to do it or know what it means or worried that it's costly. To do an accessibility audit can be costly. But to do a usability study is a fraction of the cost, very practical, and really can move you along in like 6 weeks, right? So it's understanding what you can do and what's behind it. What's the why?
You know what? I didn't even know if you noticed this, but when we had the radio show, I got a little bit upset because I thought about if somebody goes to my website and they get frustrated. Can you share the story that you said to us on the radio show? Carrie, you got to hear this. Is that like you basically, part of your consulting gig is these companies hire you to see if they're compliant or if people can access their website, and how you test it is with disabled people. And you had said a story. Can you share that story? You know what I'm talking about? Absolutely. Yeah, it was sad.
So, yeah, it's a usability study. We have a team that just does that. And what we do is we'll go onto your website, we'll look at your frequently used pages, known issues, and we'll have 10 people, each with different disability types, and we give them tasks to do on your site. So we were doing this usability study, and one person just broke down into tears as they were on a careers portal for this company. And they said, I'm crying because I think I submitted my resume like 4 times, but I can't tell. I don't even know if I actually applied for the job. I know I'm qualified based on the experience. I am so upset. I'm just going to give up. And I really wanted this job, and they're not even going to know I applied. And when we do this usability, you actually can watch it real time with each individual, and we video record it. Why is this important? If you're listening, you're probably like me, you're probably not a high tech kind of person. So you get this tech report and you're thinking, well, what the heck does this mean? What do I do? But if you see someone breaking into tears and hearing them say what they're struggling with, or see the video of that happening later, you don't have to have any tech experience. You know exactly what the issue is and what your customers or potential customers or potential employees are going through. And it's a real eye-opener for a lot of folks.
So we were just experiencing like internet connection dropout or have you. So what I heard you just say is that what your company does is you will use disabled people, about 10 of them, to kind of like test out a company's website, like different parts. What's the career part? It's inventory, whatever, like what normal people would do. And you record the disabled people's interactions and engagement with the website. And one person was so overwhelmed with frustration because they were just trying to apply for the job that they felt that they were qualified for, that they wanted this job, and they didn't even know what was going on. And that really hit me, when we did the interview on the radio show, because I was thinking, oh my God, I've never even thought of that. And then immediately I thought of LA, who's like my brother, and I love him to death as my family. And I'm thinking, man, if that was like someone like LA, that, oh my God, first of all, just I would feel horrible for him to feel that way, one. And then, oh my God, what a douche I am that I would have missed out having somebody at the caliber of LA in my organization because I didn't think to create the website the right way. So you blew my mind. And I think I'm pretty smart, and I think I'm pretty savvy, and I'm really diverse. I mean, like there's our company's completely diverse with minorities, with females, with, LGBT, everything,
right.
Blind guy. But yet I even as open, as diverse as I am, I never really did a technology audit before. And so I know my dealer clients, I'm a car guy for 22 years. I know damn well they're not doing this shit. Most of them, some of them maybe, but most of them aren't. And that's why I really wanted you to be able to kind of share your profound knowledge, to our audience. LA, jump in on this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Don't be the last one with your hand up at the auction. VinQ Vehicle Buying Center gives dealers the digital and in-store tools you need to buy direct from the public. On average, inventory bought from the public grosses $1,200 higher on the front end alone. VinQ turns buying cars direct from the public into a business. The most profitable dealerships in the country are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in additional front-end gross. Private party acquisition starts with VinQ. See it at VinQ.com.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Because just everything dealing with the websites and all of that good stuff. When you talk about service, when you talk about just communication, CRMs, same situation, right? CRMs aren't really accessible. I mean, even the VIN app, right? If I were to go into the VIN app, I mean, it kind of works, but it doesn't really work, right? And it's not as user-friendly as it ought to be. And so I know, Apple and they do their thing and try to make apps as friendly as possible. And it's not even always like people think, especially for a blind person, it's like, oh, the pictures and all of that good stuff. No, sometimes it's just how you interact with the site. I'm getting on right now, apartments.com. I'm sure this is not a small company. It's a big company, right? And they have this whole claim on their website that's like, oh, we want to be as accessible as possible, blah, 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 blah. But their site is horrible. Like, it's like, it says link. What does this link do? What is that supposed to even mean? I can't get to any descriptions, none of the stuff that I want to do. So is that your case with your car dealership, right? Am I scrolling through and is it reading me all the descriptions? Do I have access to everything that a sighted person has access to?
No,
right?
Absolutely. And even in LA, if you call, I'm going to go back to the call center. I want to give you guys an example that I was listening in on, and a gentleman was blind. And he called into this call center and he said, look, I know I'm on your website. I'm on the homepage, but I'm trying to get here and I'm just stuck. There's something going on with your site and it's not accessible. The person on the other end of the phone at the call center said something to the effect of, well, Mr. Smith, I'm really sorry you're having challenges on, page 1. Let me take you to page 5. And his response was, young lady, I'm still going to be blind on page 5. I'm blind on page 1. I'll be blind on page 5. We have an issue, right?
Right.
And we don't think about it that way. We have to change mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is the number one thing? I mean, for you, when you talk about changing the mindset, you mentioned those 4 reasons why people don't do stuff, but how come people think the things that they think? I mean, that's kind of a weird question and it might be a little deep, but why do we have those thought processes to begin with that even when we're told? I've had situations where, it's funny. One of the first things, I was actually on Clubhouse and my name on Clubhouse is the Blind Master. And they were like, oh, I thought you sold blinds or something like that.
Even though he's got a cane on his logo on there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so people do this for a few reasons. One, they don't listen. A lot of people don't listen, don't read, don't pay attention. That's number one, right? But there before the grace of God go I, people fear. People fear disability. They fear what they don't know. If someone hasn't had a personal experience with a family member or a friend, just based on their own life experiences, they can't sometimes get their arms around it. But we do know that just if we think about diversity in general, whether it's race, it's religion, it's gender, as a society, we have an issue with difference. And disability is part of that. And what we don't understand and we don't know, we immediately go to either fear. And when we fear something, we act really stupid, right? I'll give you an example. If there's a police car behind me, I'm keep looking in my rearview mirror. I want to make sure I don't go through a stop sign or red light. But because I'm so focused on that damn police car instead of on the road, I go through the light or the stop sign and then I get a ticket. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is crazy. We just got to do a better job because we do call ourselves, we're so inclusive and, we embrace difference and everything like that. But most of the time we really don't. It's kind of lip service, right? So I thought that was powerful.
Right.
So go ahead.
Well, yeah, Ellie, I was going to say on this too, is there's nobody talking about this in our industry, Nadine.
No.
And I got to tell you, I'm embarrassed in our group right now. We've got like single digits that are on the live stream right now. And this, I did this on purpose. I didn't promote this because I wanted to be able to just kind of check the temperature. We're going to definitely do this again, with massive promotions and promote this stuff. But I wanted to see what the temperature is for our industry. And again, what's sad is that when we talk about, Ali Retta, that sells 150 cars, like, we have like 800 people that are tuning into the live stream. But when we talk about disabilities, which I was educated by you, Nadine, I had no idea, is a larger demographic than the entire Latino community in this country. It's crickets. And that is, again, people's minds aren't there because people aren't talking about it. And I'm going to be honest with you. So this is my group, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. Is that, if people don't talk about it, then it doesn't really matter, unfortunately. But these people matter. And this goes to the hashtag that you talked about too. So that was a perfect segue. Can you talk about that?
Which the hashtag Disabled Lives Matter?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are starting a whole movement on Disabled Lives Matter. There'll be a podcast starting next month because we do matter. We do matter, and in ways that, to your point, most don't realize. But I will tell you that, if it hits your pocketbook, if it hits your wallet, you pay attention. And I think that that's what we need to get across here. This hits the wallet of individual salespeople. It hits the wallet of the dealerships, right? It hits the wallet in big ways. And so I think we want to pay attention to it, because if we do, the dealers that do pay attention, the number is going to go up dramatically.
Wow. Yeah. So
again.
Yeah, so no, real quick. So I wanted to, because I know normally, at the beginning of a podcast, we kind of give the background stuff, but I wanted to get right into it, right? I just wanted to start giving some super duper nuggets. But how did you even become, I know you have a couple of children that are in the community, but outside of that, what made you even get started with this? I love the story that you told about you working with the company and all of that good stuff. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I spent over 20 years in corporate. And I had developed a division, and before my children were born, I had volunteered a lot in the community, but I had developed a dedicated division. It was a financial services company. And by year 3, it became one of the most profitable divisions in the entire corporation. It was all focused on disability issues. And I stand about 5 feet tall on a good hair day. And I walked into the elevator one day, and the CEO of the company, it's a multinational Fortune 50 company, he stood about 6'4", and looked down at me and just said, Vogel, when you created this, wrote the business plan, why didn't you just start your own company? And I thought for a second, I was like, stupid. I don't know. I hadn't really thought of it. Right? It was corporate. And 2 years later, I went to his retirement party on a Monday. I turned in my resignation on Tuesday, and I started my company on Wednesday. And he went on to become CEO of another company, and they became one of our first clients.
Wow. That's huge. Again, that just speaks to, what's in it for the person. Everybody's got a big sign on their chest that says, what's in it for me? And right. So dealers, we're telling you plain as day, this is a huge profit center. I'm just going to call it that, right? A profit center that you're missing out on if this is not a priority to you. I'm not saying, even just included, but if this is not a priority, man, I promise you're missing out. So that's my number one thing.
I want to hammer this in with LA. I'm pretty known in the automotive industry, and LA is actually pretty known now in the automotive industry as well. But I got to tell you, Nadine, there's not one person that I've ever come across that has met LA that has not been blown away. You know what I mean?
Right.
By him. And that's the thing that I like. He's a walking billboard for, hashtag Disabled Lives Matter, because yep. What this man has accomplished is just mind-blowing for sighted people, but to do what he's done at the level that he's done it, being blind, and that's the whole thing, is that I don't understand why, like, dealers, you see what LA does in your own stores and they're blown away. I mean, then why are you not? I'll tell you right now, if I was a dealer synergy client, because they all experience LA, I would be Googling shit. Okay, where's there a blind school next to my dealership after I met LA? and nobody's ever done that before. So if we can, LA, I don't want to hijack your meeting, but I know Nadine has a hard stop, coming up. Can we talk about let's talk about HR, because I meant what I said before. I've got dealers right now in Pennsylvania, in the Boyertown, Pennsylvania area, the Limerick, Pennsylvania area. I got people in Wardolph, Maryland, in White Marsh, in Tyson's Corner, in those areas right now, and in New Jersey that need employees. They need quality people for call center, for BDC, for internet sales. So if a dealer or I are looking for people, how do they do that? You just can't find Google blind people or Google disabled people for my dealership. Maybe that's the website we could create, though. I don't know. But so how can we get into the matrix here and get some help?
So first of all, just so you guys know, I'm a Jersey girl. I've been in Jersey girl for a long time. In terms of the employment piece, we don't do direct hire, but we help dealers understand how and where to source people with disabilities that have the skill sets, the education, the background that they're looking for. Depending on the type of job, the nature, the geography, all of that. Because also it's prepping the organization, right? The dealer has to be ready for these people and make sure that all that's set up. So all of that, we include the training and everything. So they can just email me directly at Nadine@consultspringboard.com, and I'm happy to, answer more questions or help them in any way we can.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention auto dealers, you need an opportunity to do business. AutoWeb is one of the largest suppliers of high quality leads, high quality buyers. At a 10% closing ratio, you will be at less than $190 per car sold. Don't just settle for what you get. AutoWeb can fully customize your results through targeted markets and/or zip codes, and as a partner, you will get premium placement within search results. Who better to do that than literally the people that invented automotive internet sales? If you want to sell more cars more often and more profitably, then you need AutoWeb.
I will put that in the chat in the group.
Sure.
Can you repeat it again for the podcast?
Yeah, it's Nadine, Nadine at consultspringboard.com.
All right, LA, you can go back to question making.
No, that's huge. No, because I think, again, this whole HR conversation is something that's so what is the number one question outside, since we're, whenever you get interviewed, right, and people are talking to you, what's the number one question that either people ask that they are not really clued in on, or I would say, what's the question that they don't ask that they should?
Yeah, so are we talking about relative to employment?
Yeah, just relatively to, just working with the disabled.
Yep. So usually the number one question we get is, I don't know how or where do I find these people, right? That's usually number one. And to your point, do I just put an ad in the paper? If you're disabled, come here. No, they don't do that, right? So that's usually the first question. If they're looking for people with certain skill types, that goes even quicker, right? Especially if they're looking for college educated for some reason, right? Well, how on earth could I find that? That's usually number one. Number two question is, well, I don't know how we could even accommodate them, just the cost or the physical space. I have no idea how to do that. How would we even begin to think about that? And the question that they don't ask is, what am I missing out on by not hiring these individuals?
It's good stuff. Good stuff. So let's, and I think that we've answered a little bit. Here's the thing. What do you think about this? Because for me, if I was, quote unquote, job hunting or something like that, the whole equal opportunity thing is the thing that I think is so what I call lip service. It's like it's fake because you say it's equal opportunity, but then the truth of the matter is it's really not. So how can we, word ads to make sure that, folks really know that they are? And here's the thing. We have to have an advantage here at Dealer Synergy because we can just point to what we already have, right? But if you don't already have that, what could a person do to really attract versus saying it, like you said, because it just sounds corny, right? Are you disabled? Or you want to work such and such? It just sounds corny, but what can we do to attract the right people?
So we have a whole marketing department that just focuses on whether it's direct mail, other kinds of outreach, certificates that you're doing, branding, anything. We go through that. We have worked with I'm actually on the board of the Walter Cronkite School of Communications and working with journalists and other media people about this very question. So I'm so glad that you asked, because a lot of times when you see something worded, it's worded in such a way like, we're here to help you.
Right.
We're here to support you. Come join our team and find out all the ways in which we can support you as an employee. Well, I don't want to be supported. I just want to be an employee like everyone else. Leave me alone with the support. Tell me about how much money you're paying me. Tell me about the benefits, right? Talk to me like you would talk to anyone else. Now, at the same time, there are things that we can include that subliminally tell me that you're accessible, that you're interested in me, not in spite of having a disability, but truly because of it, that you get what I can bring to the table. And there are subliminal messages that you can input in there or images so that I will get that without you saying you're a cause I just want to support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. That's beautiful stuff. And even I mean, Sean talks about this a lot, right? Even kind of working with maybe some sort of an organization or someone that kind of deals with that. Maybe actually advertising at the National Federation for the Blind, whenever there's like a conference or something like that. Kind of having a person involved in that stuff. Maybe really kind of being involved with anything that's going on. Ali Rita does talk about it. He talks about how if he wants people from the community, he just goes to the community, right? So how about we go to the disability community, not to say, oh, come work with us, but just to say, hey, I'm here and I'm representing our industry. And then what happens is people naturally start asking you questions, right?
Yeah.
Just, true inclusion. That's what I'm thinking.
And even just showing that you know and understand the needs of the community, right? So let me give you an example. If dealers would go to a conference, let's say for United Cerebral Palsy, we'll just make it up, and they go to the conference and they want to hire them. And let's say someone asks about NMITA. If the response is, what the heck is NMITA? That's going to be bad. It's
right.
Wrong message. So NMITA is the National Mobility Equipment Dealers Association, right? Like I said, not everyone with a physical or a disability needs special equipment in the car to drive, but some do. If you don't know what NMITA is and how to engage with NMITA and who are the NMITA outlets in all the different states that can equip the cars and help, well, then why bother? So that's the part of organizational readiness. If you're going to do this, let's do this right. You don't want to show up and look like an idiot.
Right. Yeah, that's real good, man. That was powerful right there. So
I do have a couple specific questions, Nadine. Yeah. I know that you have worked with manufacturers before. Which manufacturers have you worked with?
So, I think probably by now we've worked with all of them over the years. I think I'd have to go back and look, but we've worked with the big ones. I mean, we've worked with the Toyotas of the world, we work with the General Motors of the world. But yeah, we've worked with
dealers. Because have you worked with dealerships directly or dealer groups?
We've not worked with the dealer groups directly, but I'll just say one thing. You asked about who we've worked with. So I mentioned earlier we have a conference called Disability Matters. Mm-hmm. It's a corporate conference and awards gala. Many years ago, General Motors hosted our event at their headquarters in Detroit.
Well, listen.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. Just because you haven't worked with dealers yet doesn't mean you shouldn't. I think that they definitely need to. And here's what's insane, Nadine, I'm sure you know that these dealers are all multi-billion-dollar organizations.
Absolutely.
I heard LA and I told Karen about this the other day, is that we talk about like celebrities, like famous people, like musicians and athletes and rock stars, rap stars, and all that stuff. How many billionaires are there that are athletes or musicians or TV stars? There's a couple, but they're very few. Do you know that there are much, much, much more billionaire car dealer owners? People that own car dealerships or dealer groups. There are more billionaire automotive professionals than there are billionaire anything else that I know of. You know what I mean?
That says to me they're smart. And if they're smart, then they'll be doing this work. And I would
want to bring it up. Yes.
I would be honored to have Springboard work with each and every one of them, work with you guys with them, and get them up to speed. So instead of billionaires, they'll become trillionaires.
Oh,
Let's go.
let's go.
That's it. Look, that's a closeout statement, baby.
Yeah. So Nadine, I would like, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I am sincerely intrigued and motivated to help you help the automotive industry. This is new to me, this structure, but obviously you have a blueprint how you've engaged all these other verticals. I have the platform. I promise you that. I am, who I am in our industry. And I think that me and you in LA off, live, because I think we've only had live conversations in front of 1 million people on radio, and then now, in our Millionaire Car Salesman group. But I think if me, you, and LA just kind of brainstorm, we can, handle a couple different things. And if you're taking mentally notes, I would say one of the things are on a marketing level, or on a compliant level, or on a profitability level, because I want to be able, because some dealers are stupid, and I'll say that to their face, you know what I mean? Again, it is what it is. And so some of them might not care about hiring disabled people, but some of those people might want to be able to stop the hemorrhaging and losing prospects and clients from their sales and service department, like your daughters. So I would say I'd like to come up with a strategy on how we can educate dealers on how to maximize this powerful demographic for their business is one. Second is, that's to sell them stuff. Then second thing is to make sure that they are compliant and they're not in any breach of any federal or state laws and compliances. I think that's important. And then the other aspect is on an HR level, and then there's another level too. And this is the ironic part of it. This is almost like, and I don't mean this as disrespect. I'm just what I'm about to say. It's like governments, not just the United States, that'll send military bombs out there, and then right after they destroy shit, they're going to turn around and do humanitarian aid to the place that they just leveled. So,
right.
It is what it is. The dealerships, they do this or they don't do this, but then yet they give millions and millions of dollars to charity. Dealers are one of the most giving people. Yeah. They donate so much to the local communities. And I think some of them obviously do stuff for disabled and autism or for veterans and things like that. But I think that that's the other way that we can help you, educate and work your organization in the automotive industry.
For those dealerships that are doing some really great work in this space, let's get them to sponsor some shows on our TV programs, on Bloomberg, on RVN,
That would be amazing. Exactly. Right. So, LA, did you ever connect with Nadine? Because I know that you guys talked on the radio show.
It's on me.
Oh, it's on you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He sent me the snap. It's on me. I'm going to follow up with him this week.
All right, cool. No problem.
I'm being
Awesome.
honest.
So,
I own it. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, Tim Cox from CarNow, and we would love the privilege and honor to be able to partner with you, our dealer partner, and show you why we continue to be the most awarded communication and digital retailing platform in automotive. What's the buzz about? We'd love to show you why. Please click the link below and let's partner together.
Yeah, it's all good. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's what this conversation is about. And see, a lot of times you hear us on this podcast making things happen. That's what we're about. We're not about sitting around talking about the problem without creating the solution. And so you hear live on the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast and in the Facebook group, all of the different things that we're doing. So listen, it's your turn. Make sure you get innovative, get thinking, start saying, hey, what do I need to do? How do I get to the next level in my car sales life, in my financial? What do I need to do to go from 10 to 20, 20 to 30? If it's a gross number, what do I need to do to get from 2,000 to 3,500? You just got to constantly innovate. And so I'm telling you, this is a huge part of the process. So thanks everybody for checking us out, man. This is the Millionaire Car Salesman. Go out there and be a millionaire car salesman yourself. We'll talk to y'all soon.
So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tiana Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. The Millionaire Car Salesman podcast is sponsored in part by Dealer E-Process, VinQ, and AutoWeb. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.